Well, good golly gee, I don't know, that's what sounded right at the moment. If it isn't the side channel that I totally abandoned for like 2 years, I am so sorry. If you follow Karuna Satori ASMR or my social media, you will be very aware of what happened. And it's kind of funny, but it's actually really sad. But I'm glad that I'm alive. I'm glad that I am thriving now. I have my health back. I got a cool scar here I'm going to get tattooed eventually. And I have something to show all of you. And it's from YouTube. So I was just chilling, checking my emails, when I got an email from YouTube stating, "Congratulations on 100,000 subscribers." And I was like, what do you mean? What? I clicked it. I was like, I haven't posted on here for 2 years. And it turns out I was eligible for the 100,000 subscriber plaque, which I'm going to open here in a moment. But today's video isn't just about my successes, it's also about my irritants, the bugs that cling that never seem to go, which namely one, the other one's dead, thankfully. If you watch, our main channel, you would and watch that 3-hour video. My first abuser is dead, and the other one's about to be in jail, so that's good. And if not in jail, he's in a terrible state already, so it really doesn't matter, does it? This is a terrible lipstick color, but I lost the one that I was going to bring in here. So please forgive me, this is all I got. So I always put on lipstick, and I always, speaking of abusers, I always used to take after my mother, who used to take she used to put an inch on and then just put a napkin up to her lips and just wipe it off. So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't think I even really needed lipstick. I don't really care. But anyway, not just to introduce the 100,000 subscriber plaque, but also talk about the person who has not left me alone since 2015. But the good news with that is that he is in so much hot water to the point he's in constant charges and constant trouble. The police department have been after it. It's crazy. I have so much to talk about. So first, and that person is Johnny Klanchar, and I'm sorry I keep doing that. I'm just doing the intro here. But my stalker Johnny Klanchar is who we're going to be talking about today. So why don't we do a little unboxing? And I'll give you guys a little update on my life and tell you what I'm about to do with this channel. You're going to notice that my profile picture and banner are going to change. I have somebody making a really awesome banner right now based off of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's supposed to be me falling in the sky like Linkle, the female Link, which has, believe it or not, no correlation to the story with Link. They're not brother and sister. They were supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. We'll do a video on video games someday if I ever come back. I'm sorry. It's really not funny that I left for 2 years, but I really actually have a good excuse for that. But anyway, so you're going to see those two things changing. But right now, let's open this bad boy. I cannot believe 100,000 of you, which is probably going to drop because you guys haven't heard from me in 2 years. So people change. They don't want to follow anymore. I totally understand. So if you see this and you're just like, ew, I don't want to see her anymore, feel free to unsubscribe. I'll probably go under 100,000 because you know how that goes. I see channels that I subscribed to in 2015. Sorry, I whacked myself in the face, but you understand what I'm saying. So do you? It's okay. I completely relate and understand. So happy 100,000 subscribers. I don't think I ever came up with a name for you guys, so I just call you my family because there are so many of you that still keep up in my life and try to care about me and see what I'm doing and follow along with my story. And I'm shook that over 1 million that listen to my ASMR and things like that. There's also 100,000 over here that follow along with my story, or at one time saw something that made them click on the button. And that's exactly what this letter says. So when you open your play buttons, whether it be 1 million, 100,000, at least those two, which I do have, you get a card. If my voice sounds raspy, it's because I had my thyroid taken out and they ended up finding cancer, and I think I explained all of this in the thing, so my voice will forever be raspy for now. And I just quit smoking again, so maybe it's the leftovers. You get a card that says if something happens to your play button, you can email the makers of it. So I'm going to set that there. And then you get a letter from, I guess, the new CEO. It used to be Susan Joyski or something. Now it's Neil Mohan. And it says, "Dear," they didn't put my name. My other one has my name. "Do you remember your first subscriber? Your 100th? Yes, I do." And I was talking about somebody on the other channel about G for T, if you guys remember him. And he was amazing. I wish he would come back. So funny. Or your 1,000th subscriber. Chances are you do, and we know that you'll definitely remember your 100,000 subscriber. Your fans may have found you while searching YouTube, learned about you through a friend, or maybe you showed up as a recommended video. No matter how they came to your channel, your audience stayed, and their numbers increased because of you and the community you've built. I like to say family. We're proud to honor your impressive milestone of reaching 100,000 subscribers with the Silver Creator Award. Congratulations! We know that you have many more stories to share with your community. Yes, I do, Neil. And, I gotta stop that. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm talking in like matter of facts. We know that you have many more stories, and we know your fans can't wait for you to amaze them or just talk shit with your commitment and creativity. So keep creating, keep building. We can't wait to see what you'll do next, and we're here to support you along the way. And who knows, when you reach your 1,000,000th subscriber, we may just write to you and ask, do you remember your 100,000 subscriber? I like how they changed the letter. Yours sincerely, Neil Mohan, YouTube CEO. So the one from Susan was better, I'm gonna be honest. Like whatever automated page that they send to you, hers was so much more emotional that I remember. I don't know, I was going through some health shit, but I always am. I'm like a walking disease. But anyway, so this is the play button. And I have my gold play button in my room with my other 100,000 subscriber button long before they made these like pretty. The other ones were behind glass. If I wasn't like 100 feet from my room, I would just walk and get it and then put an edit. But you guys can just look it up, or I'll just put a picture of it right here. So you're going to see me do the whole hand up edit things today since we're talking about my stalker. So anyway, this is so exciting and so rewarding. No pun intended. It genuinely is. I'm like scared to take it out of the plastic, but I will anyway to show you guys. It's pretty heavy. The other ones, believe it or not, they were smaller and much heavier. They were put together pretty well in my opinion, but I don't know. Ooh, it smells so good. It smells new. I've actually had this plaque for like probably 2 months, almost 2 months now, because we went to the beach in the beginning of August, or we got home in the beginning of August. I can't remember the dates. We went to see my sister-in-law down at the beach, and the husband story is a whole different ball game, guys, but let's stick to my stalker today. So look, it's me in the light, or it me in the glass. You know, I would love, my daughter has a YouTube channel now, and I would just love to get, she's not allowed to show her face, but she does, I can like let her show her hands and stuff, but if she gives consent, we can do videos together. But she's hilarious. Like, she is totally walking like in my footsteps. Not saying I'm hilarious, but I'm saying like the strength that she holds. And like my son, he's more into like STEAM, like building things. Like he builds these circuit boards, and he even built a small computer. It's like for kids where you can put it together, but like it's amazing. He's in a special class to where like he's higher up, he's ranking in like advanced and everything. Whereas my daughter, she's on the more creative side where she's like she's just so fun and so creative, and I love her channel, and I totally want to see her be able to get something like this someday. Because maybe to you who works a 9-to-5 job and contributes to society one way, I contribute to society, I'd like to say, not in a, super serious save the world way. However, I think I do participate a little bit in helping people sleep. And at one time, some other things, but we're done with that. And I'm happy for that. And that can be its own video. I'm so excited to talk about some, you're going to notice my nails. I'll explain this. But I'm so excited to talk about some things because I kept private for so long because of the things that I had went through. For so long. I'm surprised I'm even talking like this today, like so openly. It's just, it really, like, when life hits you and hits you hard, especially not in a positive way, and you're not prepared to handle that, which I wasn't at the time, and I'm so grateful for the therapist that I have to this day. That's a whole video as well. You don't want to share those things, especially when your life has become so peaceful at the same time. Like, despite the negativity, despite the negativity, my life was still peaceful. Like, I have my family, I have just quiet. Does that make sense? And when you have that peace and quiet, you don't really want to share that. I'm going to be honest, like, ask anybody, like, you have your special group of friends or your special people, and despite having my YouTube family and things like that, you know, I keep what I share very, very small, because I used to share, like, if I was going to the bathroom, it was crazy. And people used to tell me, Sarah, like, you can't be going on and just sharing every single little detail of your life. Like, you have to have privacy. I think somebody, Laverne Cox, was it her who told Dylan Mulvaney that she needs to keep something private? Like, she needs to keep her life private and things like that. I think that that is such good advice, and that's what I did. And I can still do that while sharing some things that I learned along the way. So we're 11 minutes in, and we can start on that now. And thank you. Ow. This thing's gonna cut me. It's gonna give me another scar. I do love this scar. I hated it at first. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna show you a picture right here of what I looked like after surgery. Putting my hand up so I can do the edit later. Oh my God, it was so crazy. I'll never forget when I woke up from surgery. That's a whole story, even with my 3-hour video. Describing what happened during surgery. I had a terrible dream. I was in like a K-hole because he gave me too much ketamine, and like I thought I had died. It's crazy. I'm always like dying. Like, remember my other video, dying on psychedelics, dying from my thyroid, I don't know, dying from my stalker, because now I feel very unsafe. So let's get into that as our first welcome back on the side channel. I'm going to make a little trailer and post it on our main YouTube channel. And again, if you are still following, go ahead and look out for different changes to this specific channel, like the profile picture and banner. So I'm going to put this back. Oh, and it also comes out, like, you also get underneath the plaque, what is that, silica salt, and something that's like, recognize your team. Oh my goodness, it would be so honored, like to get the 10 million. You're gonna notice me sometimes stutter a bit, and that's just because nowadays I don't have, I don't know, everything ready to say. Like, I take life one step at a time, 1 second at a time, one moment at a time, things like that, and I'm proud of that. And I genuinely am proud of the change I've made in my life, and I'm so excited to share that with you. My next video, though, is probably going to be an updated makeup routine. I know I look so oily now, but it's because I, like, exfoliated my face too much, and whenever that happens, you also, as many of you may not know, because of my Graves' disease and thyroidectomy and things like that, I do also have myasthenia gravis, ophthalmic myasthenia gravis, and thyroid eye disease. So this eye is a little bit lazy. My eyes are misaligned, and actually in the morning time, one eye will like go like this and the other one will recede real big. It's really crazy. And surprisingly, my stalker has that with his eyes too. Like, his eye will get real big. I wonder if he's undiagnosed Graves, because he is a true psychopath. And let's begin finally the story. I don't know, do I have sweat under my armpits? I hope you see it. I don't know. I've also gained a significant amount of weight, which I am proud of. I am very happy with my body. I'm like, let's talk about my stalker. Show my weight gain, like, but I'm healthy now, and that's the worst compliment you can ever get from your doctor. But at the same time, for me, it's the best thing that I've ever been told, because my health was so poor at one point. So, I have not heard from John, his name. All right, so let's formally introduce this now. My stalker's name is Johnny Klanchar. He resides in, I don't know if I can say that, I gotta watch what I say, but let's just say we live in the city of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and he has been dubbed my stalker since early 2015. For those of you who have watched my story and been in my life, you already know the things that he's done to me, and I actually have a cell phone that I'm going to be bringing in here soon depicting the things that he says to people, how he threatens people. He's called women the N-word, threatened to kill these N-word, like, the words that he uses you're about to see, because I have a cell phone that his ex-girlfriend, who was my friend, left in her car, or left in my car, and I was like, no. Like, this is getting exposed. I did end up reading it on a Facebook post, but that was back when everything was just going crazy. Excuse me, and things of that nature. So for those of you who have followed along, you already know this, but for those of you who don't, a short introduction. I also have a video depicting like everything that was going on at the time, but I left a lot out. So definitely watch that if you want to catch up. But my stalker became my stalker in 2015, actually a little bit earlier than that, probably around, I'm going to say August 2014. It was a few months after my father died, and I had run into an old friend. Her name was Megan, and I met Megan in rehab. So that was my first mistake, is getting together with somebody you met in rehab who was not clean at the time, but I was kind of experimenting at the time. So she identified, I guess, as a lesbian at the time. Like, this is just chaos. So I met up with her, and I'll never forget, I didn't have a car at the time. I didn't even have my license. So it had been, 2014, 13, 12, 9, 5 years since I first met her. And she was like, yeah, she's like, my friend and I will pick you up. So I'm like, okay. I look forward to it. I really look forward to seeing you. So she comes and picks me up, and she takes me out to her mom's house where she used to stay. And this guy was in the truck with her. I think it was a Jeep at the time. And she was just like, oh yeah, this is my friend John. So how are you? Like, it was nothing. And my intentions, honestly, was like, I was just trying to sleep with her. Like, I know that sounds terrible, but I knew she was like, I don't know, I was in my experimental era. Is that what Swifties say these days? Like, I love Taylor Swift, but I'm not like, super obsessed. So we get to Megan's house, and we're sitting in her room catching up, and we look over, and this guy, John, is just walking back and forth through the doorway, like, staring at him, peeping in. I was like, Megan, what's his problem? It's like, imagine the bed, like, over here, and then the doorway's, like, really far. Like, it was pretty significant. Like, he couldn't hear. I was like, Megan, why is he doing that? She's like, oh, he's mad that, like, I'm keeping you here, and he has stuff to do. And she, like, put her hands on my thighs, and she's like, I'm really happy to see you. She gave me a hug, and she kissed me on the cheek, and I was, like, really into that. And I was, like, kind of like, yes, we should do this right here. Like, right now, that would be wonderful. However, it just progressively got worse, like, the back and forth, and I don't know, we ended up sitting there catching up, whatever, and like, he had made it a point, like, I think Megan's mom came home at the time where she was staying, and like, he was talking to her or something, and then I was just like, look, like, I'd love to hang out with you if you want to come over a couple times, like, that would be great. Why don't you come over to my apartment next? So John takes us home, and it was the first time we hung out. At the time, John was smoking. He still smokes. He smokes crack. Like, the stuff I have to say is insane. So he's like, oh, do you smoke weed? And I was like, yes. At the time, you know what I mean? I was like, that's fine. We all hit a joint or whatever. And on the way back to the apartment, I might be confusing 2 times. I really might. But I grabbed Megan's hand because I was having like a panic attack. And John was driving, she was in the middle of the Jeep, and then I was at the end, and this was on the way home that I believe. I might be mixing 2 hangouts at once here, but I don't think so. John handed me, I smoked, whatever. I was real uppity, like, anxiety-ridden, and I held Megan's hand because I was scared. And she seemed fine with it. She held my hand back, and we were, like, cuddled up to one another. And all of a sudden, John peeps over and sees this, and he, like, turns up the music, like, blasting it. Like, I think it was, like, Scarlet Begonias from the Grateful Dead, and I'm just like, okay, and just like blaring this, like speeding up to where we used to live, like on this back road. I'm telling you. So I get dropped off, and this is how this pretty much goes from then on out. Megan came over a few more times without John, and then after the first time, I was starting my ASMR channel, and I had done a massage video with Megan, And my other friend, John, the good John, the John who's like my best friend, I love him, he's amazing, videotaped it. And then my stalker, John, showed up in the driveway. It wasn't, I mean, I did have intentions, but like she had lied and said that this was just her friend. So eventually, after so long, I start getting messages from Stalker John, and he's just saying, why don't you just stay out of my girlfriend and I's life? Like, why do you have to do this with us? Why are you trying to steal her away from me? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She said that you were her friend. And he's like, no, I am her girl or her boyfriend. Like, I've been with her for how long? I'm like, she's gay, John. Like, what are you talking about? I was wrong both ways. John was dating Megan and she didn't identify full, and that's fine. I don't care. However, she did lie, and it caused like a snowball effect, because from then on out, I was like, John, I'm not going to stop hanging out with Megan. Like, I'm not doing it. So at first he started playing the game of, okay, I'll play along with this and be friends with you. Let me help you out with some things. You want to come over on Thanksgiving? You want to hang out? And he did, and he acted like he was a good friend. He's the reason why I have Munchkin, my cat, my little kitty cat, who I'm in the lawsuit with the vet with at the moment, which that's a whole other story times, like sweet peas, like so much. No, my life is actually really peaceful, but he's the reason why I have Munchkin to this day. There are things I can happily thank John for. He got my husband out of jail, went back in like 2015. 2016. But anyway, Victor ended up going to jail for unpaid like traffic violation fines. It was nothing serious. He was in for 3 days, but John helped get him out, and he lent me like $800, which we paid back. And then he like, just the chaos, it snowball affected. So we ended up moving from the main place with Megan. Megan and I had to stop talking because Megan started drinking a lot more, and I couldn't take John. He started doing evil things. He made a Craigslist ad. That was probably one of the more evil things he did, because I was living alone at the time because Victor and I couldn't see each other and we just weren't together. And he sent a man to my house at like 6 a.m. So I opened the door. Like, everybody knows of this story, so I'm not going to get into all this, but he's done a lot of evil things. Then whenever we moved, I wasn't even talking to Megan. He just kept going. He'd start driving past my house, throwing out bottles. We ended up going to court over it. They were like, John, if you do this one more time, it's over for you. And he didn't. He stopped, but the harassment went forever. Watch that first video. It shows videos and screenshots, but I will say it was 2017, early 2018. I did see Megan one more time. She called me from downtown and she needed a ride to her house from work or wherever she was working at the time. And I picked her up, and she was just trash drunk. So I was like, let's go get you sober up. Let's go to my mom's house at the time where I used to film. And I took her there, and I was like, Megan, we can't hang out anymore because John's ruined my life at the time. I was like, he needs to be held accountable, and everything he's doing is protected. That's all done. So that turned into us kind of sleeping together, her and I, on my mother's couch. Like, that's so terrible. I mean, she didn't sit on the couch anyway. It was all for show. But, like, yeah. So she was just like, okay, and, like, kissed me, and then we just, hung out on the couch. So after that, I dropped her off. I was like, Megan, I don't want to see you anymore. I was like, this is too much. I was like, thank you. I was like, that was a great time, but, like, no, I'm not doing this. So Megan leaves this cell phone in the car. And Megan was seeing a girl at the time, or talking to a girl who was gay. And John was like, and this is where the cell phone comes in. And I'm going to go see if I can get that now. If not, I will stop it here, and then we can continue going. Okay, 30 minutes later, we went in and we had this phone on the charger. I'm not even kidding, for like 3 hours. And like, we turned it on, and I was like reading these texts, and I'm like, what do you mean begging for money? What is this? And it turns out it was my brother. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I run into so many different subjects. It's like different things to say. Is that a bee? Oh, dear God. No, it's like a red fly. Oh! Ew. Sorry. All right, I might edit that out. I might not. Hold on. Let me try to get this. There's so many background noises right now. There's like people like hammering. I'm so glad I chose to do this video today. But yeah, I'm all sweaty and oily because we like went through the first phone and then we found a second one. It turns out it was a phone that my friend left into my car back whenever we went to a rave together. His name was Josh. The phone ended up being dead. He just switched over. He was eligible for an upgrade. I hate my studio, like, because it has bugs that get in it, like spiders and stuff, because it's in the woods. Eek. So anyway, long story short, I'm waiting for the phone. We finally found the phone. It's the correct one on the charger, so I'll get back to it. But yeah, so that's what the phone was, essentially. It basically, if you see me looking in the viewfinder, I'm looking for that fly. Him threatening Megan, calling that, her name was Chantel, I think it was, or Shamara, that's it. It was Shamara, and Megan was seeing her. Megan, like, I guess, like, she was a severe alcoholic. I actually just had dinner with her in June of this year because she came up, I forget how she came up, but I ended up reaching out to her mother to check on her to see how she was, and I'm not going to give out information, excuse me, but she looks the best she's ever looked in her life. Like, she was very healthy. Her and I talked, and, you know, because my life has changed so much over the years, I was like, Megan, like, you were viciously abused. He chained her up. He threatened to chain her up in the basement. Everybody knows of this article. Of course, the one, I'll leave that link down in the description. But yeah, like, where he attacked her. She has photos of like black eye bruises, scars from him cutting her, like vicious things. I'm surprised she's not dead. I really am. I'm surprised like he didn't murder her. And that's the problem. I was so scared with all the things he had done to me, making that Craigslist ad where the man showed up at 6:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, whatever, in the morning, alone, whenever I'm wearing booty shorts and a spaghetti strap shirt, and he's like, are you ready? I'm like, for what? He's like, the ad. I'm like, what ad? And I found that all out. Like, the things that John did were absolutely evil. And you know what's interesting is when I ran inside to get that phone and it was my mom's, I found text messages between Victor's mother and my mother. And if you guys know my story with my children back in the day, John reached out to every single outlet to try to take me down and destroy me, all because I spent some time with a girl who told me that John was just her friend. It's insane. So he essentially latched himself onto me. So after him getting arrested and charged because of that, things went quiet. Honestly, like, my life started getting like better. I ended up buying a home for myself, buying a vehicle. I will never forget buying my Nissan outright with cash, banker's check. And I was so proud. All of the accomplishments I made, I have some issues right now. I'm in the lawsuit. I have, whatever. But I really made a good life for myself. And especially after figuring out what was wrong with me, after the brain fog thing and everything, my life really got good. Other than just struggling with my thyroid, which was hell, at least I had a safe place to do it in. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine living in the conditions I used to live in 2017 with John driving up and down my street, throwing trash, harassing us, walked into our home with a shotgun. And then whenever we used to walk to the clinic back in the methadone days, walking up the hill to the clinic when we had no car, no money, and then John would follow us real slow, 5 miles per hour, because it was 4:30 in the morning waiting for the clinic to open. Evil stuff. And he had the gun sitting right on the window of his Jeep, pointed at us. Walked into the house with a shotgun after the whole getting Vic out of jail thing because I wouldn't answer his texts. It's crazy. It's abusive. It is sociopathic, narcissistic behavior. John is a textbook narcissist. So let's fast forward. Things started getting better. I stopped talking to Megan. I dropped her out of my life after that. She left that phone in my car, and I went through and went over those texts. I don't know if it was a year later. For whatever reason, John was in contact with me, and I went up to Eaton Park. I forget why, but long story short, he was smoking crack Eaton Park parking lot, and I was scared. And he's like, I need to pat you down to make sure that you're not recording me or anything like that. I'm like, John, it's okay. Like, in my head, I was still going through, a severe, like, trauma response where everything was just, like, I was doing things just to cling or hold on to things, like, and help myself. So I was like, yeah, if I meet and make up with John, everything will be fine. No, like, he was out of his mind on crack, and that was the last time I saw him. I mean, over the years, we saw him at, like, the gas station in the morning, things like that. Up until recently, I have not heard of him. Every once in a while, I'd run into somebody who's like, oh my God, you're the girl who was harassed by John Klanchar. I'm like, yes. So the difference between now and then is, with YouTube, luckily, comes pretty good money. Depending on, I mean, I could post way more and make a lot more for myself and my family, but because of health, because of taking the time to finally enjoy my peace that I haven't had in years, is really special to me. So I'd rather just make, a very good living instead of a very, 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 very good living, still being stressed out and burnout. So with time comes success, and grateful for me, I ran into some success, and I've been doing pretty well, and I'm not taking it anymore. So if I have to go the legal route, that's one thing. I already have the defamation thing going. I can get John in a second if it meant taking him down just to get him to shut his mouth. I don't think he understands how that whole side of the world works. I don't know. But first, we're going to do a little update, because I can't risk what I have to go away. Like, I'm not giving up my peace currently. I'm not giving this life up because John decided he wants to pick on me again. And what's interesting is, on his Facebook, he goes on and he's just like, you guys need to stand up for me. What about me? What about me? I was picked on. I was bullied. I'm the one who's going through, like a child. I spoke to one of John's neighbors, and they knew him when he was like, knee high, and apparently he was swinging an axe, and like his dad almost hit another kid. And whenever the mom ran over, like, what are you doing? You can't do that. John's dad was like, you can't control that kid. Like, there is something wrong with that kid. John lies and claims his mother's blind when she gets out of the car and just casually walks down the road. John claims that his dad was picked on, everything. You can go to he has a YouTube channel. Search it up for yourself. I'm not stupid enough to put on videos of him on here like that I didn't take myself. But you can see him screaming bloody murder, and this is where all of this comes in. So recently, I got a message from somebody who I'm sort of friends with, and like just like who I know in the neighborhood. Funny enough, when I was speaking to that neighbor, John doesn't know that a lot of friends on his friend list are just his friends on his friend list to watch him, and like they tried to 5150 him the other day. So anyway. This person told me, they were like, did you know John has a YouTube channel and he's like going crazy at the borough? And this person thought I had lived in the same borough as John. And I was like, no, I live one borough over. Like, we live close. We live 2 miles away from each other. But I was like, yeah, I'll check this out. Definitely. So I start seeing that John made a YouTube channel, and he's like, I want some of that YouTube money too, and I want some of that success. Like, as a narcissist, John feels like everything's entitled to him. And that's why John's in the position John's in, because like, he's a sociopath. He's a narcissist. Like, he thinks, and that's why he's like dirt poor, and like it's hilarious. I really want to post like the video he just made yesterday, and he's gonna do a response video probably, and I'm gonna copyright it, and it's just gonna be a back and forth. It's gonna be hilarious. So with that, I start watching these videos, and they're all council borough meetings, and he even ran for council. Let me tell you this, not one vote. Not one vote. We spoke to the police. It was crazy. Okay, so let me just get in because I'm getting off topic now. So, long story short, I start watching these videos and seeing that he's fighting with the people over at the Southmont Borough Council. That's the area we live in. Well, he lives in. I live in Upper Westmont, whatever, this and that. Like, I don't care if people know. So, funny enough, I mean, all of this is public. He's like screaming over random stuff. So I guess like all of this started, the reason he's back in my life again, and I'll explain, but I see that John's in a lot of heat right now in the past few months, like over the past year. And it starts out with him, I guess where he lives, there's an alleyway. He calls it a paper alley. And essentially the neighbor was upset that he kept blocking off the alley. Now, John claimed that he blocked off the alley because his mother's blind. She's not blind, for God's sake. The woman's not damn blind. Like, she's not fully blind. How's that? I'm not ever going to put somebody's disability, like, in their place. But I'm saying right now, he exaggerates it to where he's like, she's completely blind. Like, she can't see it. She's just like, it's like the Christmas stories, like, soap poisoning. Like, that's how he's talking about his own mother. I feel bad. I'm like, John, shut up. So anyway, yeah, so I guess the neighbor was like, you need to stop parking here. Like, I have my own problems too. I need to get through here. Like, it's causing blight. I might not be prefacing this the whole way, but you can look it up. It's all legal stuff right now. So long story short, I'm going to say that a million times. I guess the neighbor started getting mad because he kept calling the police on John, because that's what John does. When John's even asked to do something that requires him to get off his butt, like John's like, oh, I lost all this weight. Like, no, you lost weight on Ozempic and Wegovy. Like, I just got prescribed Ozempic. Like, you were so, unhealthy that your body overproduced a rampant amount of diabetes and they put you on Ozempic, which just so happened to help you with your weight loss. Like, please stop the narrative that you lost weight because you worked hard. You don't work out. You went to the YMCA. They hated you down there. Like, it's crazy. So, because the neighbors were like, hey, can you please move this off of here? John's like, no, that's my property. This is my stuff. Like a baby. And I guess just casually started posting him on the internet, like the neighbor, slandering him, posting like sexual abuse allegations. And you know what's hilarious is the made-up allegation was the same one that the rumor that John did this to his own dogs. I'm sure you can put two and two together. He had 2 beagles he was obsessed with. And there was talk by one of the neighbors that he was in the backyard, like, moaning, making noises, like doing things to his one beagle. Nobody knows, like, it didn't go anywhere because they were like, yeah, don't ask, like, I'm out of here. So anyway, it's just funny. He started attacking this neighbor because the neighbor was kindly like, hey, can you get this off of here? Like, we need somewhere to park. So then that, turns into another neighbor on the other side. John starts parking his dad's boat trailers everywhere, allegedly boat trailers. Like, John doesn't own boats. John's like, nobody needs to know what I have. He like did this YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic now again. I'm sorry. John has all of these trailers lying around, and he has them lined up on the street. If you go to his Facebook, I'm just going to post them here because they're like, they're public photos. Like, those don't belong to him. There's all of these trailers lining the streets. I'm sorry, I have something in my teeth. And they're all his. Like, well, they're all his dad's. Like, John doesn't own any property. Like, the stuff that's rotting away. Like, John's dad's in trouble now, too, because, like, there's all these, like, his yard is a junkyard, essentially, right? So the other neighbor starts complaining because John has all of this stuff all over the road. And if you do go on his road, like we drove by the other day, it is filthy. Like, I feel so bad because, like, where he lives in his father's house, like, that house wasn't John's. Like, John didn't buy that home with any money. Like, everything in John's life has been given to him. He works at a trucking company. Like, in the trucking company, like, I'm surprised they even employ him because of the stuff that they've heard. Like, it's same people hang around same people. How's that? So I'm not even kidding you. Like, it's just disgusting. It's slimy. Like, John's always been like that. Look at him. Like, I don't ever put people down for their looks, but the guy is filthy. He's a filthy person. He's disgusting, right? And I mean, his actions speak for himself. I don't feel ashamed or bad for shaming him. Like, whatever. So both neighbors on each side of him are freaking out. So he decides that he's going to take a big stand and start getting involved in things. the first thing John does is start going to the council meetings and, you know, to stand up for himself because the neighbors are complaining and calling the cops and nobody's doing anything at the moment. So all of this drama starts ensuing. You can see all of it on his YouTube channel. He gets his ass handed to him in every single video, but for some odd reason, this man thinks that, like, he's doing a justice or a service to, like, innocent people. I don't know what the mindset, like, he's undiagnosed mental illness. Genuinely, like, the most textbook narcissist anybody have ever talked to. Like, even the neighbors at this point, like, they're like, we're scared for our lives. And then John always slips in everywhere. I have him on video saying, like, I'm a troublemaker, like, I do these things because they messed with me first. Like, the 8-year-old mentality, it's like drugs really stop developing, like, his brain whenever, I don't know, it's crazy. So yeah, so he has 2 neighbors. He decides to start going to these borough meetings. Now, when the borough didn't want to agree with him, he starts attacking the borough. There's a video of him cornering a woman, and he always titles it with their name. Corners her in the borough office, like forcing her to answer questions, using her name in the title, like doxing, everything. Like, he starts attacking everyone individually who just simply won't agree with him. So then he decides, well, nobody's listening to me, so I gotta feel included somehow. So he starts acting like he gives a crap about the, like, I think Section 8, it was, like, the housing authority. Yeah. So he starts going to those council meetings with some guy who's been fighting in politics in Johnstown his whole life. Like, I don't even get... I will not get into that. However, I will tell you now, it's always the same, like, 5 people. They're like these older men who, like, in each other, like, it's insane. So John, like, joins this and is like, I'm really making a difference around here. I'm really doing my part. Like, and then, like, after nobody listens to him there, he's like, damn it, because he's not, like, spewing his garbage. He goes to these council meetings screaming at them. You guys can see that footage anywhere else but here, because I'm not stupid enough to post it here. Go and look it up. It's crazy. I got him, I mean, a bunch of people got, it's not just me who recorded it, screaming, like, at these people, sit down, shut up, like a child. His own dad was like, chill out, John. And he turns around, he's like, get your hands off me. He's a baby, man. And that's the scary part. People are like, well, why are you afraid of him? Because that's what happens. What happens when kids have access to guns? Like, you know what I mean? Literally, he would never make that mistake of stepping foot on my property. But the point is, so whenever they don't listen, the housing authority doesn't listen. He's like, you know what? I'm going to make a stand because I'm important and I'm special and people should give a shit about me and pay attention to me. I'm going to run for council. Not a vote. Not a vote but his own. Not a vote. Not one vote. Not from any of his so-called friends and the family he talks so much about. Oh, Jesus Christ. Nobody. So he runs for council. He starts harassing the mayor. He starts harassing people in the courthouse going in there like, I can bring my phone in here if I want to. He thinks just because he, like, can read that he knows all of his rights. Like, he's an idiot. I have never in my life, except for my own abusive mother, dealt with a textbook narcissist until I met John Klanchar. It is crazy. So, moving on, getting to the point, as I keep saying, I apologize. That's why I stopped doing story times, because I'm like, I always, like, repetitively say it. So, after nobody would listen to him, he finally, you know, he's like, everybody vote for me if you want to see things change and make a stand and everything. I'm over here, like, watching this from the sidelines, laughing my ass off. Like, I am just like, this is so poor. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's when I found out. Is that a spider? Oh my god, there's a jumping spider in here, and those things scare me. I know they're cute and they're sweet and they don't bite. Or they do, I don't know. But they would bite me because they could smell the fear. The bears can smell the menstruation. Yeah, so anyway, John just decides to go crazy, and I'm going to run for council, this and that. Not one vote. None of his friends came. None of his friends showed up for him. Nobody. Nothing. He lost. He was the first one on the ballot. Actually, I think he was right in. And just lost. He lost. So I think that was the first time I actually heard about all this. It wasn't the neighbor thing sent to me. It was somebody sent that and was like, did you know John's running for? And I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. And it was so funny because the day that, like, he posted, he's like, and that's what he does when he doesn't get his way. excuse me, he starts blowing up on like social media, and he's like, none of you guys did this for me. I deserve my time. I only pick on people because they picked on me first. Like, what a goddamn lie. I am the textbook example of what a goddamn lie, because like he picked me out of a like a bin or a bushel of like, I don't know, some girl who lied to me and decided to stick on me like a bug. Like he's like a dirty used napkin. That's what he is. That is what he is. He's like a dirty napkin that just like, I don't know. So anyway, lost counsel. So at this point he's fuming. He is just fuming. He's like, I am not being heard anywhere. Nobody's listening to me. So then he starts picking on the other neighbor again, because the meetings only happen once a month. He's been going to them every single month, filming them. And it's to the point that like recently, John he got pulled over. Now, every morning John goes to Sheetz and gets his same order. My husband knows the main worker there, and it's just hilarious because he laughs all the time that John goes in there, because it's like, he acts like he's buddy-buddy with people, but he's literally like, he's like dirt. He's like a used napkin. He's like, we don't want this. Like, please throw this away and get rid of it. The cops feel that way, everything. So he's driving his truck around, and what's hilarious is like he's fighting in these council meetings, and I hope you guys go and view the videos because they're hilarious. He's screaming and threatening. He's screaming at these people, threatening them like, oh, you would never dare do this, you would never dare do that, like. And then he posts and he's like, I'm a pretty cool guy, I'm a chill guy. It reminds me of Sam Hyde's I'm wacky, I'm cool. You guys know what I'm talking about? He's like, I will never stop. It's like, that's John Klanchar. He's never going to stop. But he's about to, he's about to understand that, like, you can't just mess with people without consequences. And that's not coming from me or from me. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he realizes what's, like, over his head right now. But that's okay. So, anyway. Yeah, so all that happened. And this poor woman goes to all of the council meetings as well, and John films her, full body, this and that, like, makes fun of her, does all this, and she's so cool, calm, and collected. Like, all these people who deal with him, like, he has never had somebody walk into your house with a shotgun, so it's like, I understand how they're just, like, chill about it, but, like, I'm the one who's like, you guys, this man is tormenting all of you, and you just, like, and they're like, we've known John since he was, like, this high, like, he's harmless. And he is, in a way, but at the same time, it's like, children, like, don't understand when their brains, you know what I mean? Like, your kid will, like, be eating and then just throw a fit because you're like, hey, can you dump this in the trash? And, like, it's like, his brain's undeveloped, so he's frightening, he's scary, he's not intelligent, he's not intellectual. He is mentally unstable, untreated mental illness, and a narcissist. Like, look at him. Like, it's very simple. You know how you meet somebody and you're just like, something's very off. That's funny because when I posted that this video was going up today, everybody's like, oh, wow. Like, I just checked out his videos. Like, something's wrong. Like, it's like, I know. It's like, you can just tell. And he genuinely believes with all of his person that he is a good person. He is disgusting. He is the worst. And he will not leave anybody alone until he's taking us all down with him. And I literally told him, I was like, if you want to throw gasoline onto an already burning fire, like if you want to throw more gas on your already burning fire, you can do that. But I promise you, you're going to burn down with it. And he will. Like, they're about to, so this is where this all goes. So he's been harassing all these people who just want the trailers gone, the blight gone. So John gets mad because the borough and the Tribune Democrat, like the Tribune, which is our news, local news, comes out with this article, and it's like, John Klanchar of something street, is having an ordinance, like, or is having a dispute with the neighbor, Cindy something or other, and it's over blight, and because of this, they proposed 2 new ordinances. And the ordinances, you cannot park trailers or unregistered, unplated, like antique plated vehicles on the street. That is the entire street that is covered with John's dad's stuff. So John freaks at this point. He goes nuts this week. First and foremost, he got in trouble, I guess, for saying the F word at one of the council buildings or meetings. And it's not even that. It's the fact that he genuinely, like, was screaming it on purpose. And, he's like, I'll try not to say fuck. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to get demonetized. Gotta make my coin back from this video. No, but, yeah, so he does that, and, like, the week goes by, and all this stuff starts happening to him. He gets put in the news, and not in a good light, and he's like, oh my god, all this stuff's happening, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a black barrel, and spray paint the F word and the C word, and put it in my yard with a plant next to it and think I'm doing something because I'm gonna fight the man. That's what he is. I swear to God, like, I've done how much LSD in my life, and, like, at least I have the, like, hey, this is not right. This is not right. I probably shouldn't do this. Whereas John's just, like, he's literally undiagnosed, like, anyway. The drugs got to his brain. It's very simple. Like, I'm a recovering addict. I can tell where, like, my intellectual whatever cuts off, where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not smart enough for this. Like, I can take accountability for my stupidity. John Klanchar is just he's mentally ill. It's simple as that. He's a narcissist and mentally ill. I think those two go the same. I don't know. So, yeah, John takes a black barrel, spray paints it. You can see all of these photos on his Facebook, plasters it in his yard in front of the neighbor's house. It says the F word, C word. It says effing. It says, so then he goes on a 45-minute rant on this video on his YouTube channel yesterday. And the reason I know that is because he commented, because this is where I've been watching all this. And I just thought it was so funny because, like, this is what I'm saying. 2 days before, his truck got impounded. That's where I was going before I went off topic. He goes to Sheetz all the time. He drove away in his it's not inspected truck. And he drives it up to the street after, like, sitting in Sheetz all day, like, harassing cops or doing whatever. And they pull him over. And the video is hilarious. It's all on his channel. Just go watch it. Like, I'm actually encouraging you guys to go watch it. Give him the views. Give him the coin. He needs a lot to be monetized. He'll make five pennies a video. I mean, let's give him that. He's going to need it for the fines he's about to be getting soon. So anyway, yeah, so he got pulled over, his truck got impounded. He is going absolutely crazy in this video. I'm telling you, you can hear his heart beating in the video. And he has a vape. He's always vaped, and every 3 seconds, like, and he's like, it is so dramatic. And we're just all sitting there watching this like, oh my God. I spoke to an officer at the borough. His name was Ian, I believe. He's the guy in the video who tows his truck. And it's so funny. Like, I was like, how did you stay so calm? He's like, I have dealt with John for years. Then there's another one. I think it's Chris I spoke to. And he's just hilarious. Like, they towed his truck. So John's on a rampage right now. So he pastes, giant barrels in his yard, going crazy. Well, in all of this mix, in one of the videos, it was the one of him with the truck, I did comment and I, laughed. I was like, have the day you deserve. After all the things you put me through, I was like, it's all coming down on you now. Like, it has nothing to do with me. I don't care. So out of nowhere, he deletes my comment, and I'm like, oh, I thought it went and held for review. So he goes on and leaves a comment on my thing, and he's like, do you remember when you, spread your butthole online and made a bunch of money from it? I'm like, yeah, I do. I was like, that helped pay, have my mortgage off. But I was like, thank you, John, for reminding me. And he's like, he was saying, you should go watch my new video because it's all this. So he's just going off on me and putting me down. And he's like, all the money you made and, all the things he used to say, like, you will never have your kids or you will never succeed or you're going to go to jail. All of those things happen to him. Like, the child that he did help raise, gone. That child will not talk to him, gone, because he almost killed his mother, gone. I'm sitting here because it's insane, and I have so much to say, and this is why I don't do story times, and I'm going to do an ASMR video after this. So that's what John did. John got triggered that he saw me, and I've spoke to his neighbors, and I have visited one of his neighbors, and I have spoke to the West Hills Police Department, and I have spoken to the woman who is up at the borough, who's one of the councilwomen, and I have done my part, and I will do my part in the future because As I said, if John wants to throw gasoline on an already burning fire, then he's obviously going to burn. I will not let that I will not let that child harass me. I won't if he comes. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not messing around. Yes, I am genuinely scared of him, but I am scared of him as a person. I'm scared of him with his mentally ill self coming to my home and, like, doing something with my children, putting my kids in danger. However, I will not stay silent on the matter. And because I promised posting yesterday about the button, since this all happened yesterday, I was like, you know what? Why don't I do an unboxing of my little play button here? And we'll talk about an update for the first story time, which is my Stalker storytime update. I was going to do the psychosis thing about how my thyroid put me in psychosis, but I think this is much more fun. So, where I'm going with this, I'm actually going to go check in the house to see if that phone charged, is I want people to know about the dangers of John Klanchar. I am going to use my platform, this platform, because ASMR is ASMR. I mean, I can post my previews over there, but I'm not letting anybody else get hurt. And the people that he goes and sits like a plant, like a bar plant, that's what we call them, and wants to, you know, I'm on your side, John. I've been friends with you for years. We care about you, man. We're here for you, man. We know who you really are, man, even though you held a gun to your head in your house like 6 years ago and I had to come save you, man. No. Like, no. Enablers. And when John kills somebody, and if it's me, he's gonna pay for it. Like, I need people to know about what he's capable of. I'm not scared about, you know, voicing my opinion. I'm not scared about being honest, being this, being that. What I am scared of is him not being in the right mind, and I am warning everybody now, if something happens to me in the next month or so, John A. Klanchar, please remember that. Remember this, screenshot this clip. John A. Klanchar is what happened to me. And anybody else who's involved in his antics right now that he's harassing, the police officers, Ian, who took his truck, Cindy, Tracy, anybody on the street, I'm not going to name the other two men. If anything happens to those people, it's going to be John. And John is going to be John if it's nobody else. So I have a platform. I've wanted to come back for a long time. I'm going to go check this cell phone. But other than that, that's my first update, is my Stalker story, the dangerous John Klanchar. And lately, because of this, the reason I'm saying if something happens is because he posted this screenshot right here, saying that, you know what, I'm not going to come after Sarah this way. I'm going to give her a taste of her own medicine. Like, he sounds like Donald Trump. Like, only like a like disfigured form or something, like even worse. So, yeah, he's threatening me now. If he tries to give me a taste of my own medicine, he wants to keep fighting back. He's going to fight until he's exhausted. And right now he is exhausted, and that's why he's picking me out of the line. So he had all his neighbors, all the councilmen, all the police officers, and now he's coming back to me. And all because I said, have the day you deserve. And I know he is. And I know he will. So let me go check on that text or phone, and we'll go through those fun text messages. Okay. I have the phone. It's charging beside me. Again, this is Megan's phone. We're going to go through some of these texts. Trigger warning. This has severe triggering things. So let's start out with the one that I just opened. As you can see, it has John's name up here. It has his number. I'm not going to dox his number because I'm not like John. Megan says to John, this is the girl Shamara I was talking about that he was seeing, or that she was hanging out with at the time when they weren't together. Please stop threatening me and her, says Megan. John Klanchar says, I am going to kill your little dyke whore lesbian, then Sarah, then the dogs, then finally myself. Just wait until I start blasting your mom, being put in the nut ward, being a mule for the Rizzos, how she used to bang somebody. She's going to love being exposed. This is how John talks to people, guys. Like, this is real life. Like, I sat with Megan at that dinner table earlier this year, and I was like, you have been viciously abused. So are you ready to talk yet? Because I can keep it up for as long as necessary. I want you to pause this and read these evil things that John said. Enjoying all the Look at this. This man attempted to run for council. What? It's not funny. It's fucking mentally crazy. Enjoying all the dyke junkie whore pussy. It absolutely amazes me that you can just avoid me. Here we go. So how is Shamara's... Read this stuff. Tasting. I heard you're living with her now. It's like you want me to blow my... out. Just keep ignoring me. Ask Sarah how well that worked. Because when I ignored John back in the day, that's what John would do. He would try to hurt me physically. He would try to mentally hurt me. Like I said, he walked in a house with a gun, like everything like that. Obviously, you're dyke junkie whore. Pause these and read them. I can prove this is... I don't want to touch anything yet, but I'm going to go over this and then we'll talk. She said, I'm not worth unaliving yourself. He said, whatever, you obviously don't think so. You wouldn't have, whatever. That's all you have to say. Ending my pain is worth it. You have no idea how bad it hurts knowing that N is worth it. Read this stuff. This is insane. All I want to know is why you did it. I can't ever be a better person if you don't explain to me. John, I am bisexual. I will have a standing with you for a long time. If you just tell me, I can start pick up the pieces. All right, hold on. Let's go down. Because he's just saying, you already did. The damage is done. He's like, I'm dead. The dogs are too. Please don't do it. He linked a YouTube video, which I'm not clicking. Because there's no Wi-Fi on this phone. This is insane. He's just threatening... I gotta cut that out. Sorry, I gotta watch my words. But he's threatening unaliving himself, is what I didn't want to say. Hold on. If not, expect to hear the news of my unaliving later. I cannot take this any longer. I can give you a ride home, or unless you have a date tonight. So he's like threatening her if she doesn't get in the car with him, she's gonna... himself, me first, of course. I mean, he's got to get me. And I'm not supposed to be scared of him, right? All right, so this goes all the way down. All right, going all the way back up. It's so much. He's like threatening to unalive her. It's crazy. I'm reading this stuff and it's insane. Here it is. Because they take shots for money. Ooh, you are a cunt. Like, I can't even say this stuff out loud. Read this stuff. This is how John Klanchar, the one who was arrested for, like, threatening to chain Megan up in his basement and attacking her and dragging her through the yard, talks to her. And she dealt with it because she was an alcoholic and he was the only one who she was John's narcissistic supply and John was her alcoholic supply. This is how he talks. I can't even read this stuff because all it is the N-word and him threatening to kill her. So, yeah. Look at this. Does she shave or does she have those little N ringlets? She told me to ask you once you admit that you cheated on me. So he's making fun of, I guess, her hair, African-American hair. I mean, that blatantly is. Hold on. Here's a video. I'm not even gonna... Oh, that's him exposing her nude photos. Pause to read as much as you need to read, but it is crazy. It's serious. I can't even... Taking lessons from Sarah? Blocking my number? Mouth full of N... Junkie whore cunt. Hold on. This is crazy. But yeah, he's like threatening and threatening and threatening and threatening her. Sending like... just horrible, mean photos. he said, there's like nude photos on here, and he's like, yeah, that's you. He's like, I'll only stop and tell the truth when you tell the truth. I can't show that because there's a photo. I can show like the very top of it. This is the top of it. So I'm going to go through here. Megan says, yes, you did. You hit me and smashed my face off the kitchen floor in front of the cabinet. It's crazy. You're too scared of me to get a PFA. Oh, wait, you'd have to admit in open court that you had with me. It acknowledged our relationship. So, making fun of her because she's scared to get a PFA. If not, expect to see your photos all over the place online. Him threatening her. This is John Klanchar. This is my stalker. The man who's threatened to unalive me multiple times, going after everybody. Like, that is why I'm saying, I'm scared for my safety, Megan says. I do not want you to hit me again or drill all the windows shut in your house and lock me in. Because that's what he did to her and had her trashed 24/7 and AR'd her and everything else. We discussed this back in June. Oh my God. He said, I'm posting these pictures because you refuse to tell the truth. It's so sad. It really is. It makes me so sad. He's an evil human being. And I will show the world these photos, and I will show the world these pictures and these texts and everything. Look at this one. Remember everything I did to Sarah? Expect even more. I hope that N tasted so good. I hope your N girlfriend will give you the $300 you need. See that? Remember what I did to Sarah. Oh, and it just gets worse. It gets so much worse with the N-word and everything else. Check out this website. So this is a website. I don't know if it still exists. It's like USA Anon, and it's where like people share underage photos. Like, I'm still being spread on there after doing OnlyFans for years later. It's like men who just want to like get away with CP, only like they're like fantasizing it because these girls are grown up now. He posted Megan all over the site, posted me all over the site. This is the craziest stuff. She's like, are you done? Have you sabotaged me enough? This is what hate is like. You don't realize how much I hate you now, just as much as I loved you. You know the efforts I went through. This is the way John talks to people. You junkie, dyke, and my stomach. He said, I hope you choke on her pea juice. It's crazy. This is so crazy. Read this. Pause this and read it. And if it's backwards, you just go into a mirror or something. Like, this is so mentally ill. It is so mentally ill. And it just keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. I'm not kidding. He sent a picture of his male member, his little itty bitty friend, and she goes, why did you send a picture like that? And he's like, why not? Like, she never wanted to be with him. She was an alcoholic. Here's a perfect picture to prove it's him. He's right there in the photo with his dog. Like, it's insane. It's crazy. And I can prove this is him because it keeps going. He talks about his house. He talks about everything. It's wow. So yeah, it just keeps going up. So now I'm going to go back. And there's like text from me on here, Sarah. Makes me really sad. I said, I can pick you up in an hour or so because I was trying to help her. It's just so sad. So anyway, let me go to the photos here because I'm pretty sure I might not know how to do that. Here it is, gallery. Here, I can prove it's her. It's just like Megan and like all her photos. She was so funny. There's pictures of her at John's house. I'm not going to show those. There's a nude photo of me in here, I guess she had, and photos I took of her. Oh my god. There she is. Like, she is a beautiful woman, and he abused her to hell and back. So there is a text on there that said that he was going to make a sign that said N whore, whatever. I'm going to come and show her the sign and then unalive her. I'm not going through all these because we're 11 minutes in, but I did want to show you guys the phone, and I'm going to use that as my trailer. So with that being said, there is my first update. Please stay away from John Klanchar. Spread the word as much as you can. If he wants to, quote unquote, give me a taste of my own medicine after what he did to me, proof right there that he did do those things, post me on all those websites, post the Craigslist ad of him threatening to whatever. Statute of limitations, I could still take him to court. And if he, again, wants to keep throwing gasoline on the fire, he's going to learn. He's going to learn. And it's as simple as that. And that's not a threat. That's not a threat at all. Like, that's a legal promise. You know what I mean? Like, he's not taking away this peace that I've developed. And because I'm feeling better now, he's not going to make me feel terrible. I'm so proud of how far that I've come. I have worked so hard. And I'm so excited to, like, continue to share that with you guys. Because I love you guys. And with that being said, thank you for sticking around to Karuna Satori Basic, and I hope you watch all of this video. And if you did, comment a little banana emoji down in the chat. Let's get this chat going. Let's get the analytics back up, the views back up, because I like abandoned you guys for 2 years. But again, I have justification. I got really sick. I just got really sick. Like, I got really sick. That's a whole other video. Like, I want to talk about burnout. I want to talk about thyroid awareness, thyroid cancer awareness, like the craziness that has ensued. But hey guys, my first abuser is dead. For like a year after my mom died, I like cried myself to sleep every night because I was like, I couldn't fix it. And I learned in therapy you can't fix it. Abuse is abuse. John Klanchar is an abuser, a narcissist, and mentally ill, untreated. Stay away from him. He is a sociopath, and I am scared genuinely for my life. However, this is the only platform I can use until he is taken care of otherwise. So family, I love you with all of my person, and be prepared for the next video. I want to do like my makeup night routine and stuff, because like the nighttime is my favorite night, and it's like almost fall, and I want to show you guys all my Harry Potter room because I'm a 32-year-old child myself. Only my brain actually has developed, unlike John Klanchar's. Okay, I love you guys. Bye. Thank you for 100K.